Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Hello, Salt Strong Nation. Joe Simons, like diamonds. We are back. Got my readers on. Yeah, I hit 45 years old, and my wife told me it would happen. And it did. And now I have to wear these everywhere I go. Computer time, out to dinner, can't read the bill, can't read the menu. Matthew, my special guest, I think a 4-time back-to-back, right? Maybe 5. It's been a lot. But Bama Beach Bum, Mr. Matthew, and we're talking about YouTube. So let me let you answer the question. Are you having to wear readers yet? You're a little bit younger than me.
No, I've had bad eyes since I was like 12. I can't remember what it's called. I can only see things up close. Is that nearsighted? Is that what that means?
It's opposite, right?
Farsighted. Yeah, I get them confused. If it's far away, it's blurry for me. I have to have it up close to my face to be able to
yeah, the nearsighted one. Yep.
But I haven't hit 40 yet. I'm sure, assuming once I hit 40, I'll be just blind both ways, and I'll be wearing the bifocal transition lenses or whatever.
Memer.
Yeah.
Nerd alert. You wear contacts?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. I was like, I've never seen you in glasses.
Yeah.
So we were talking offline about YouTube in particular, and obviously fishing content has completely changed over the last really 5, 6, 7 years. And I mean, 10 years ago, there was no Instagram, right? Maybe it had started, but no one was using it in the fishing space. And now we've got TikTok and all kinds of new cool ways to share content, which I think is great. But YouTube is really kind of, the place. It's where we started back in 2015, if you can believe it. So we're going to be hitting 10 years next year in 2025. You were a couple years after?
2017 is when I posted my first video. So a little bit behind you guys. But we're ancient in this game, man.
Yeah, and kind of OG, if you will. Black Tip H and chew on this. And Run That Dog, Captain Jeff Maggio were like, those are the only 3 people doing anything in saltwater. I'm sure there's a few in bass, but even then it was really, really small. Yeah. And there was no one doing education. And you came in with a lot of beach fishing stuff, and it was cool to see someone that, hopefully the audience members know some of your background. We'll get into that in a second. But just someone like a normal guy, right, that's trying to figure it out, that wants to get better. You see the struggles, you see the awesome days, and you learn from it. We learned watching you, and I think the same thing happened with Luke and myself. And now it feels like there's been this massive shift in terms of how people look at content. We got these shorts now, and now there's all kinds of new things happening. And sometimes you get pulled in different directions. You don't know which way to go. Fishing TV is kind of dead, not to say it's dead, but it's dying a slow death. I mean, there's not many young people like us getting into fishing TV shows because it's not profitable. Some of the older guys that have been doing it for 15 plus years, they got their sponsors. They can kind of keep chugging along and barely, making any money. I'm assuming they don't make much money from those things. They're just kind of still doing it to stay relevant and be around. But once they're done, that will kind of be done. So then we've got back to YouTube, or is it something that hasn't even been invented yet? Periscope 2.0 or whatever, something crazy. I'd love to hear your kind of just thoughts and where you are right now, because I've watched a shift in how you're creating content, where you're sharing, and even some of the stuff you're talking about on the content. And I'd love to hear what you believe is the future of kind of fishing. I don't know, entertainment, education, information, etc.
Yeah, so I think the biggest ripple that we're seeing a lot of the effect of it now is TikTok. I think just the introduction to or TikTok coming back in, which it used to be Vine. Like Vine, it's basically what Vine was however many years ago. That it went away, and then TikTok came back, which I don't even know when TikTok hit the scene. I can't remember what year that was. But that introduction to the massive short form content, and then all of these other platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, chasing that because they see how much attention it draws. And obviously that's the whole game. I mean, these platforms just want you to stay on that platform, and short form has done that and provided that, that void that maybe that long form content kind of started not doing as well with, because there was a period of time where Facebook was like trying to focus on long form more so than trying to compete with YouTube, and then boom, TikTok hit, and they're like, oh crap, and they shifted to the reels and all that. But that and I personally actually consume more short form now. I mean, it's just so easy, to scroll.
And where do you consume your content?
I don't have TikTok, but like on Instagram and Facebook, I'll scroll on there, and I think what's happened with like content creators like myself, where if you're relying a lot on the ad revenue from long form content, there's not as it's a competition. I mean, you're competing for eyeballs and you're competing for attention. And now you have all this short form available on all of the platforms, and the platforms know that they're going to continually get that content basically for free, because there are now so many people. Everybody's an influencer now, because it's so easy to create that content versus creating like a long form 10, 15, 20, 30-minute video, editing it, creating a storyline, all that. Like there's a lot more work that goes into that. So like there was kind of more of this barrier to entry for you to be an influencer or content creator, whatever word you want to use. Whereas now everybody's uploading stuff, and and TikTok kind of figured this out. Like TikTok does not pay hardly anything in terms of ad revenue to their creators, because they know we're getting it for free. Like everybody's uploading, and Facebook and YouTube have kind of figured this out too. And they're like, oh shoot, like we don't have to sit here and pay out all this money to these creators, because we're just going to keep getting this content for free from, these millions of people that are uploading these reels, and we can just throw those into the algorithm. So that's kind of depleted attention to a lot of the long form. That's also cut into, I would say, what their budgets are for ad revenue for that. So it's not that you can't make money at long form. I still do earn an income. It is just a heck of a lot harder to stay in that game as trying to produce long form content. And there's still plenty of people that do well with it, but it's just way more competitive. There's so many people creating content and getting in this game, and platforms know it and can not pay them money and still have the eyeballs. So, which is great business. I mean, I would do the same thing. I mean, if I can get it for free and not pay people, absolutely, I'm going to do it too.
Yeah, and I remember Casey Neistat, or however you pronounce his last name.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. One of the kind of the OG long form vloggers, if you will, and, exploded his channel. And towards the end, he was hinting at that there's going to be this shift in the short stuff and no more of this longer form vlogging, watching people. Our attention spans are just getting shorter and shorter. And he's like, at some point, YouTube had already kind of started dialing back the amount that they were paying people like you, and even Salt Strong, we make some money off of the ad revenue as well. It already started to go down, and now it's completely shifted, right? Like, how different is it? Have you been tracking that, like per 1,000 views or million views or whatever, in terms of how much has it gone down?
So CPMs are cost per mil, which is CPM would be what the advertiser actually pays the platform. So like, Pepsi running ads, that's what they're paying YouTube is a CPM. RPM, revenue per mil, that's what we get paid. And so CPMs and RPMs are actually pretty high, but a lot of that I would say is due to the fact that we post longer videos to get a longer watch time. That's kind of been the shift in the long form content. So like, even though, short form is here, and like, it seems like short form is the thing, we're getting less views. Like views are way more scarce than they used to be. but we posted longer videos to try to help offset. So like the people that actually do come, even though it's less people watching, we're getting higher CPMs and RPMs to try to balance that out. So like the money that I'm making on YouTube, I have been making basically that same amount since 2020 per month. Like that has not changed. That has not gone up. Views for me are significantly lower now than they were, 2, 3, 4 years ago. But that's because I'm posting longer videos, because the people that are coming in, you're at least getting a longer watch time because that's how they determine, like the longer the watch time on videos. If you don't know, they run multiple ads. So like if you post a 10-minute video, they can only post 2 ads. Whereas if you post a 20 or 30-minute video, they post 4 or 5 in there. And the more ads that run, the higher that CPM or RPM will be. So they're still paying, like the money's still there. The views and eyeballs and attention are just stripped from it. And because again, they're pumping and promoting, and their algorithms are more geared towards, hey, we can get the free, or they do pay. I say free, but it's basically free. Like, I mean, the CPM or RPM on a short form video that you post is, fractions of pennies. So it's just nothing.
Yeah, it's so wild. Back in the day, it was mostly going to YouTube to consume. And now you have, I don't have the stats in front of you, but the amount of people who are now both consuming and producing, right? They have their own channel and are putting content up on there is crazy, right? I mean, even my daughter, I got a teenage daughter now, and she and all her friends have their YouTube channels and they're all posting little fun stuff. She's into nature and Minecraft. Those are 2 big things. Yeah, she'll be posting that kind of stuff up there, and it is wild, the ease of just having a phone that you can, no editing required whatsoever. Like, and even TikTok, it looks 2020, 2021 was when TikTok started becoming the most downloaded app in the country. So only a few years ago, that's all happened. Yeah, but even in TikTok, if you guys have used it, they make the editing. I mean, you can do your cuts in there. You can add overlays. You can add text. You can do a lot of the stuff that we used to have to get somewhat sophisticated editing software and had to download it on our laptop or desktop and make all these cuts. Now you're doing all that stuff right on your phone in seconds. It's nuts.
It really is. Yeah. So there's way less of a barrier to entry to be a content creator, which, is just, if somebody said this, I don't know where I heard it, but it's like, if everybody's an influencer, nobody is. Yeah. And that's kind of what we're moving towards. It's just like, I feel like that profession of like, I just create content and that's how I earn my income from the ad revenue. I think that for the masses will phase out. Like people like me is what I'm saying, like not Mr. Beast. I mean, he's fine. But people that have gotten into this game and been able to earn a decent income and make it a full-time job, I think will phase out earning revenue from ad revenue. There is still plenty of opportunity, which, we can talk about that. I don't know if
So what would you tell, because I know we probably have some younger people too watch it, regardless if you're young or not, doesn't matter. It's not like you can't be successful on YouTube at a different age, but let's just say someone regardless of age is trying to do that in fishing or whatever topic they love. What would you tell them knowing what you know now?
So two approaches. Like if you want to go long form, that's fine. There's still opportunity there. You can still build an extremely loyal audience on YouTube with long form content. It may not be a massive audience. I think that's harder and harder. Like it's so hard to get subscribers. Talking to people that have been in this game for a long time, even people that are getting decent views or doing well at it, it's still very difficult now to get subscribers. However, the subscribers and your audience that you build are extremely loyal. So whatever you do, if you're entering into this game and long form's kind of your goal, and you want to make it a profession or you want to build something from it, it really needs to be attached to a business or service. There's still plenty of opportunity there to, like, if you have a product that you can sell or a service that you can offer or a business that you're building, you can still create raving fans. It's the best way to do that. YouTube is still number one, in my opinion, on building an audience that will ride or die with you basically and buy your products and buy your services. So I would just go into it with that frame of mind, not, hey, I'm going to post these videos and make money from ad revenue or sponsorships to earn a living. The other route is if you want to go the short form, which most people nowadays do. It's easier. You can create a lot more content. You can, stay up on that. I mean, you can post things that are 2 seconds, and get eyeballs on it. There is, even on TikTok, even though you're not going to make any money on ad revenue on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube posting short form content, the advertisers now. So I still get, I don't run any sponsorships really on my channel. You guys, I promote you guys, which, that just makes sense. Like
we appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. There's so much. I mean, I believe in what you guys got going on, and it just makes sense. But I don't do, like, I get offers from a lot of different companies still in my email, and I get offers from my YouTube, but I get more from my Instagram, which I don't even have a TikTok. But if I did, and I don't even have a big Instagram, I got like 37,000 followers, which is very, very small on Instagram. But I've gotten offers from like Bug Sprays, Freddy's, which is like a restaurant around here. I did agree to one that I'm working on because I've not done this, and I get so many. I'm like, I just want to see what this process is like. Wawa, which is a gas station.
Sure, yeah, I love
it. They've reached out. I'm going, and I gave them my pricing, and I'm going through the process with them. Just, I haven't agreed completely, but still just kind of going through that. And a couple other businesses that are recognizable businesses that have their management companies reach out to you and are legitimate. The emails are always so scammy looking though. I don't know if you've ever seen these, Joe, but like the emails that they send to you, it looks so unprofessional. Like all of them. I don't understand that side of it, but it's legit. Like it's weird. Like they're asking to sponsor you, but it just looks like a really crappy email. But anyway, if you respond to it, you find out, okay, this is legit. But anyway, there's a lot of opportunities if you're creating short form content, because that's where advertisers really want to put their money, more so than long form. Because
is it product placement? Like, are they wanting you to go pump your truck up full of gas, your boat at Wawa? Like, are you showing how are they getting? What's their incentive?
Yeah, so they're wanting me to create a reel that is an ad, basically, but would be a reel that correlates with what I do, but is an ad. And you probably have seen some, like a lot of the people that I've seen on TikTok. Well, I don't watch TikTok, but that are on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook that are posting primarily short form content. They will create reels, like especially the comedy ones. The ones that are making funny reels, they'll post one that's still basically that. It's a skit or something. It's very comedic, but it's an ad promoting a product. So, and it's not a secret or anything. There probably is some product placement offers, but most of them are very direct. But it's just molded into their content, and I see those a lot, like from a lot of the top people. But I mean, any level of following. I think, if you're getting some level of views at some point, you can start getting these offers and tie that in. So if you're open to that game, the stressor on that side of things is, that there is opportunity there, but like it's no longer the days where I'm just creating content and I'm getting paid from the ads that are run on there, and I'm not having to necessarily keep any advertisers or sponsors happy or meet their expectations and their deliverables. Now you do still kind of have a boss,
or multiple bosses at this point.
Yeah,
you have a lot of sponsors. Yeah,
exactly.
And so they're paying you cash, or is it product? Because you hear some people say, "Oh, I'm sponsored." Like, how much are they paying? You're like, "Oh, I don't get any cash. I just get free donuts for life," or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, these are cash.
Oh, good.
And the ones that I've had offers from, and the ones that I know, like the larger influencers and the conversations that I've had with some of the guys that I know that are in that game, do very well. Like it would be shocking the amount of money. Like if you knew some of the amount of these checks, like what they get paid to do these ads. It blew my mind, and
wow.
I got the rates. I don't want to say numbers or names or anything, but there's another influencer for a business that we're working with, and they sent over their rates to do like one reel, and I was and they're not that big of an influencer, and I was like, are Excuse me? And to my understanding, they do this for other companies and they're getting it. And I'm like,
Wow.
that is mind blowing. So anyway, there is, I'm not poo-pooing on social media and influencers and all that. There is a path to success. And like I mentioned before, that's the advice I would give people coming into this or wanting to grow it. Not that I couldn't do it. It's just not the direction that I necessarily personally want to take. I just feel like, everybody has a time span, Joe. Like professional athletes, whatever it may be, you kind of have a lifespan and you have to just accept it. Like my time has come and gone. And I just feel like I'm, coming to that
or recreate yourself like a lot of these NFL players that have gone on to be announcers and sportscasters afterwards. Speaking of poo poo, you mentioned word poo poo. I got an idea for you.
Okay,
you take it or leave it.
All right.
This is wow. This is really going to wow them. So imagine like it's in the morning. You're like, yeah, before every time I hit the beach, I always go to Wawa. They have some of the best coffee. But you know what? It also makes me poop. Wawa has the cleanest bathrooms in town, which they do. That's one of their cool benefits. And all of a sudden it shows you going to the bathroom and just dropping one and then walking out and you're like, Bama Beach Bum approved, cleanest bathrooms in town.
I'll have to pitch that to them. I'll see how that goes. I
think they'll love that one. Now you're pitching their coffee, their gas, and their clean bathrooms. What else could they want?
You can't beat that.
The trifecta.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to that question, someone's new. Forget YouTube, or let's make it agnostic to any of these things. If you were the 25-year-old Bama Beach Bum and knowing what you know now about everything in these current platforms, where would you put your focus on? Just one, or would you try to have, big accounts on all of them, or really focus on one, but also still kind of put some content over here? What would you do?
Yeah, I would definitely have all of them, and I would be creating just as much freaking short form content as possible. Okay. I wouldn't, assuming I'm not trying to build a business. If I just want to make videos and earn an income from making videos, that's the path I would take. And with the understanding that I'm trying to grow these platforms, each one to hopefully start securing sponsors and go that route. Because I don't think that's going away anytime soon. Now, I'm not saying that's an easy game because it obviously is extremely competitive and you do have to be entertaining. I would say extremely entertaining is the way to go. Educational, obviously, I think there's a place for that. But for the short form, if you want to be competitive, you have to be very charismatic and creative with what you're, the content that you're doing. It needs to be something that people are watching and makes them laugh, something they can relate to. That seems to be what really wins and what's really getting the sponsors. Obviously, you can go the educational route. I think that would be fine. It's just I think that's going to be a tougher road to hoe.
Well, there's an old saying that educators make a whole lot less than entertainers, right? I mean, look at the highest paid people. A lot of them are entertainers. You don't know that many high paid educators. I mean, there's a few, Dave Ramsey, and there's a few in the money sector, but for the most part, entertainers definitely make more money, which is why we focused on education. We just wanted to be poor fishermen. But no, there is, but even then, it's like a lot of our best videos, like the one of us catching the snook from the third floor balcony. I mean, some of the entertaining ones, in general, have done the best, kind of gone viral. But that's interesting. Do you think, like, I don't know, TikTok kind of makes me nervous just because who knows what will happen. I mean, there's threats of it banning it in certain countries and maybe even US at one point.
Sure.
You don't ever hear that about YouTube or like Instagram. Would you ever put your kind of like all your money into one on the shorts? Or
no, I would advise against it, just for that reason, especially. And I would imagine, again, I don't do TikTok, but some of these advertisers probably want to be on specific ones. Like I'm sure that they really want to put all their money in TikTok or really want to put whatever. So having that, and it's so easy too, like with short form content, it's so easy to just post it on all the platforms because it's the same video. You create it once and you just upload it. It's the same dang thing to all of them. So it's definitely not a complicated process to grow them all simultaneously. And with TikTok, who knows? I have a hard time believing that it's actually going to get banned in the US. I mean, I know that that's what they're saying, but I just don't see it happening. I don't know how they'll figure out a loophole. They're too big. They make too much money. They'll figure out a way to make that work.
I agree. So you're still doing long form content. You guys have a podcast or is it a vlog podcast? What a vlogcast?
We just sit around and talk. I mean, it's a podcast. We sit and talk for an hour. Usually no topics. We just basically, me and Brad just talk about whatever's going on in our life and all the businesses and sit there and complain about YouTube basically. So.
And are you seeing that work? Not the complaining part, but just the long form shooting it and like in terms of watch time and all that stuff. I don't know. We haven't tried that format.
Yeah, it hasn't really, I wouldn't say, grown a lot. We get decent views for what we expected on YouTube. I mean, we'll get anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 views on a podcast on YouTube, which we feel good about. I mean, it's really the people that are like just extremely loyal. We do post it through Buzzsprout, which syndicates it to all the things, which we only get like 400 to 500 downloads a podcast. We've been doing it for a couple of years, extremely inconsistently. We may go a month and not post one, and then we'll post one every week for 3 weeks, and then miss 2 weeks. So it's really honestly like we enjoy it. It's just a fun thing to sit down and we like cracking jokes and talking crap, and it's fun for us. And it's a nice change of pace from creating videos. And even though it's a small audience, we just connect well with that uber faithful small audience. But as far as growth, I mean, it hasn't taken off or anything.
Well, you need to get a little bit more in tune with your headlines, dude. No, the one got me. I watched it. It was one of the last ones you did. It was a pretty creative headline about this is going to be the best thing you watch in the next 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. It was and that one, I didn't know what to title that one. And basically I was saying in a roundabout way that this podcast sucks because it was, that podcast in particular, we just had like a phone call with someone, me and Brad, and it was not a great phone call, like right before we hit record. And so both of us were just like deflated and we don't want to be here right now, but we're here. And so like, it was just terrible.
And then Mike Tyson lookalike came in.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Anyway.
All right. So we're recording this here in 2024. What's your prediction in 2025? Meaning, is it going to be more of the same stuff with kind of a push to shorts, or are people going to be fed up and say, "Oh, I really want more of this whole long form stuff again"? Or is there going to be some new platform that comes out? Where do you think we're heading in the next year or so?
I mean, the snowball moving down the hill feels like it's only gaining momentum on the short form. I mean, advertisers are putting their money there, eyeballs are there. I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. Which is good. It's good. It's a good thing for people to have the opportunities and stuff. If you want to make money, if you want to grow, whatever. I mean, for businesses that just want exposure, like if you have your own business and you're creating short form content, I mean, there's no better way to bring in eyeballs. Even looking at it from the standpoint of you're not trying to make money from advertisers in any way. You just want to promote your business. It's a great way to do it. It's a great thing all around. It's obviously people like ourselves. It's, put a dent in what we can and can't do, I guess, from a algorithm standpoint. But overall, I think it's positive.
Yeah.
Just not for me, not necessarily the direction I want to go. I've even tested so I don't know if you've happened to see on our Instagram, I posted like 12 or 13. Me and Courtney did skits. I don't know if you've seen any of those.
I blocked you guys on Instagram.
I don't blame you. I would have.
I know. I did. They were pretty funny. You guys were quite the comedy couple.
Yeah, so that's different, obviously, than anything I've ever done. Yeah. But I wouldn't say we're good at that. Like there's people that post that kind of stuff that are actually really good, that I have respect for in that game. But even the crappy little skit videos that we threw together and just like, hey, this is a funny idea, let's try this. Like all of those videos did really well, like extremely well on Instagram, which Instagram can be difficult to get views on Reels a lot of times, more so even than TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And from my understanding of it, and but that's just the direction that it seems to be going. So I mean, if you can be creative, if you can be funny, you can insert yourself and do pretty well. I feel like that's a hard thing to do, to actually be relatable to people, to be funny, to be charismatic to some degree that people actually want to watch it and not cringe and be like, oh, what is this?
And to do it on camera where it comes off right, because that takes, it's like anything, it takes practice. Just like the best, comics didn't just get up there their first time and crush it. It was a lot of just putting the reps in small little dingy bars and pubs and stuff, doing stand up until the point they just kept getting better and better and better and got better with their presentation and their hooks and everything. So I'm curious, when you say short form, because that has changed a little bit. Like TikTok was, you could only post things under 60 seconds, and they changed that in the last 18 months or maybe even 12 months. So when you say short, do you mean under 60 seconds or just under a minute? Or, I mean, 2 minutes or 60 seconds, 1 minute?
Yeah. And to be honest, I don't know. Like, I know that that's an opportunity, and you can do it on Instagram too. Like, you can post, I don't know how long, but I think like 10 minutes or something, videos on there. I have not personally tested it or really talked to people that have done it. So I don't know. I don't know where that's at. I don't know where that's at on ad revenue. I don't know where that's at from an advertiser standpoint. The main things that I know that people make money from that are in my circle or that I've communicated with or that I've noticed just from consuming content seems to be short form, which I say Reels or TikToks that are like 60 seconds or less, basically. And then long form being like a YouTube video, or Facebook. Like, we still make money on Facebook, and long form on Facebook is 3 minutes or above. But Facebook does have more of a market for, we'll say, medium form for that like 3 to 10 minute space. And then of course they also have Reels, which you can make money on that from ad dollars. So they're kind of the outlier. I'm assuming you can make money on TikTok from the longer form stuff. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. And I think that's why they had to do it, because they were realizing, man, everyone's putting these little 30-second videos and it's tough for us to put enough ads and pre-roll and stuff in there. And so I think I assume that's why they open it back to over 60 seconds. But I don't know enough. We're on TikTok. I'm personally not, but our company is. Yeah. And we have someone who manages that. But even then, I think it's 20,000 subscribers. It's kind of puny, and we post once a month or something. It's pretty pitiful.
Yeah, not consistent. Being consistent is key, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Like I even mentioned it with our podcast. We know why it sucks. We're not consistent. That's, if you want any of this to work, you have to pick a schedule, like an upload schedule, and you got to stick to it, whatever that is. And more is better. You can never have too much content. I mean, I don't think there's ever, as long as it's good, it just can't be a bunch of crap. But as long, post as much as possible.
It's good stuff. No. Any final parting words or anything else to inspire people or just bring them back down depressed and never want to go on YouTube?
No, I don't feel like this was
I'm kidding.
A depressing thing. Because I feel like there is a lot of opportunity. It's just
it's just the evolution of how we consume content and where it's going. Yeah,
sure. If you're looking at like a Bama Beach Bum, if you're looking at me from the outside looking in, you're like, man, that's what I want to do. The way that I've done it and the way that I've built it, if you're trying to mimic that and other people like myself that kind of came in the game around that time and have grown their channels in that way, I would pump the brakes on that and research a little bit more from people that are smarter than me and maybe listen to what I'm saying, because I am in tune with it at least. And think about taking different routes and gaining that, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Because if you try to go about it where you're just posting videos and you're making ad revenue and everything's hunky dory and you can just go about that life, I don't see that being sustainable any longer, especially for somebody coming in new, and unless you're a Mr. Beast, you know what I mean? Like, and just creating just unbelievably unique content that, and you have a huge production budget. You know, I don't see a route where you're an average Joe and able to just go make videos and earn ad revenue, but plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, but even go read his full story, right? I mean, all those years of putting in the reps and helping out PewDiePie and some of these other people who are way bigger than him, and just constantly learning and putting in those reps with some maybe not so good videos, probably taking down some of his OG original stuff. But yeah, this is awesome. I love to hear some of the backstories and love to hear just where people like you think it's all going, because we're asking that same question. It's like, all right, what kind of content do we create? What do people want? Attention spans are down, yet we still have podcasts like this that have been going on for now we're 35, 40 minutes, and people still listen to these, and we got 4 million downloads on our podcast overall. I mean, I just saw that the other day. We hit through 4 million. I was like, and it's still growing. I was like, man, so people still watching this stuff and listening to this stuff. So
I think podcasts I think there's a lot to it, and obviously that's kind of a different segment of content, because obviously, I mean, people still spend so much time in their cars or doing somewhat mindless tasks where they want to put their headphones in. The people that have listened to our podcast, like there's a guy that was telling me he paints. He's a painter. Sitting there painting walls, he got headphones in, he's listening to podcasts. Or people. I
do yard work a lot of times for me.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so much kind of dead space that people are looking to fill, and podcasts kind of create that void for them. So like, podcasts are a huge thing. I don't know much about it because we do it, but we suck at it. You've had way more success with it, and obviously another avenue to take that I think is growing. That's kind of a different sector from the short form, but I think if you wanted to put some energy into it, I think it's well worth it.
Yep. Cool. Dude, this is awesome. Where can people go? Please go subscribe to Bama Beach. He needs the subscribers. It has been a tough month. Subscribers are down.
It's okay.
Where they go find you everywhere.
We'll welcome you, but it's okay, guys. But yeah, Bama Beach Bum, you can type it in the search bar on any of the socials except TikTok, and probably other ones that I have no clue that exist. But the main ones, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it'll find me.
And what's the podcast? It's different.
Fishing Not Catching is our podcast. We're on YouTube and all the places that you can listen to podcasts on there.
So go subscribe to all the Salt Shrunk stuff if you haven't already. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful, insightful, a little fun as well. Just kind of cool to kind of shoot it with someone I've known for a long time, and we've both kind of followed each other in terms of what we're doing, learn a lot from each other, and become friends. And it's always neat to kind of have these conversations. And we were just going to have it offline. We're like, hey, let's just record the thing and let everyone kind of hear what we're doing. So always the best.
That's fun. Thanks, Joe.
Cool. Thanks, guys. We out. Whoop, whoop.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul.